Have you ever seen anyone less bothered to be honest?
I won't get up if you don't mind. You're like 10 feet tall and so many muscles you can barely bend, and you know, you've probably just eaten chilli and I'm asking you to bend on primetime TV, which can cause problems.
So we're back for our penultimate Love or Lie Island with Judy James. So we've got our final four couples.
And they've all fallen in love at the same time.
Obviously.
Who knew?
I'm actually really surprised by the final, well, two of the final four I'm very surprised.
Oh, we'll find out.
We'll find out.
I'm going to be really cynical, I'm afraid, today, so for change.
Just for a change. I think one couple, I think unanimously we can all agree we're always going to be in the final, is Luke T and Shanice. Annoyingly, we haven't seen their date yet, but you picked up on this. I thought this was really interesting, actually.
Any obstacle that's coming their way, they have addressed it and resolved it and come out stronger, and it reminds me of myself and Luke T.
What did we see there?
Well, I have to say, and I've always said it, you get very little in the way of genuine body language on Love Island, which is fine. You do have to look for some of the smaller details, and one of the things that I always look for, and people at home can look for as well, when they're sitting with their arms around one another and they're, evaluating the other or who's going to get chucked off or anything, have a look and see what the touch rituals are like, because they do tend to forget that a little bit. They'll be playing that we're in love and everything. And I did notice that Luke there, he'd not only got his arm around her waist, he'd actually sort of dug it in really intimately towards her crotch area.
He was clinging, wasn't he?
He was clinging, but it for me, it let me know that there's sort of genuine intimacy there between those two. If you look at some of the others, and particularly, say, with Finn, Finn's always more of the gentleman, but his arm is hanging more. And I look for those smaller details. I mean, I to be honest, I don't really believe any of them are going to be in love or coupled up or anything, but some of them more than others, you can see, right down to the small detail, those two look as though they've got some genuine intimacy and relationship going there. And she wasn't moving away, so she was comfortable with it.
And they're the moments that I feel they can't put that on.
No, I think they'd forget to do that because at those particular moments, they know they're very much on camera. I mean, I know that they know intellectually they're on camera all the time, but those are the big bits for them. So, she would be more interested in, I've got to get this message across about how upset I am, and he's doing the sad face that they all do. But that would be less contrived, the hands. So that will often be the giveaway. And some of them, they look like they're on the first date at a cinema, the arms just about around the back of the chair.
Get off. But also I feel like as well, especially because I think she's always very in control of her body language as well, almost more so than anyone, where she's very prim.
Oh, the fudge is Miss Perfect, yeah.
But you're right, in a moment like that, I think she's just completely let her guard down. I suppose the moment they're in is kind of such an important moment. I think she has just let herself go there, isn't it?
It would be quite easy to flinch though, because as you quite rightly said, and we've discussed it, everything with her hair. I mean, she's very much like a school teacher in a sort of Disney movie. That would be her role if she gets a Disney role. Very controlling, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but that's what her kind of vibe is like. And being like that and looking so kind of perfect, it would be quite easy if the guy did grab you like that to automatically flinch out of the way. She's more than comfortable with that. So they look very comfortable together, those two.
And letting everyone else know that that's how she feels, isn't it, as
yes.
well? So I think that's really important to Shanice, is what she's projecting.
Absolutely, whether she's got that princess. Why?
For days as well.
I would have dropped that in the pool after about half a second, but she loves that. And I think she loves that being, the queen or the princess of the entire villa. Definitely. She loves that kind of vibe as well. But he works very well with her within that dynamic. And he said, and I think it was almost sexual, I love it when she's angry with me, and I love it when, I find her even sexy. So if ever I was worried, and I am with some of the couples, that one's a little bit dominant over the other, or a little bit more angry than the other one, and that might not work outside. With those two, she's found her compatible fit, because if she's going to be Miss Bossy Boots outside and who loves it, I can see that oh dear, I hate to say it. Whoops, see, I've even fallen off the arm of the chair for saying it. I can see them lasting.
Yes,
maybe an hour and a half.
I mean, it's
when
always
they get
hard
out.
to say, isn't it? Because it's not a real environment, so we don't know what they're going to be like when they're
It's
put in a real
holiday
environment.
romance at the most, with all of them in there.
But I think with those two, like we said, just what we just talked about, then it does feel really solid and natural, and they're not thinking about every movement and.
Well, she is always.
I mean, she always is.
But she always does.
She always does.
Yeah.
But more about herself than it is with him, I think.
Yeah. And you know, with her, the other thing, and I think a lot of guys wouldn't like this, but she's always, when they're in bed at night and everything, she's always got her hands around his face.
Yes.
And that, again, it's very loving, but it's a very controlling gesture. Yeah. And it's like, you must look at me. You see them all the time, eye contact to eye contact, which I don't think that's particularly common in the bedroom. You know, there's other things going on. But with them, it's just, no, you must learn. She's almost making him learn to love her by looking her in the eyes. You know, we have a deeper understanding of people when we look them in the eyes. So that very intense, almost making him do that, she's doing a very good job of creating bonds of white, what do they call it? Falling, don't they? Yeah. What might be...
Oh God, yeah, falling. Tumbling, falling.
I do that in the street, you know. It's not nice. It's not nice. After a sherry. But it's, it's as though she's really racking up the emotional bonds between her and him.
It's work, though, I think.
Oh, I think it absolutely... Because he likes it. I think with a lot of people, they'd be running for the hills, but he loves it. So absolutely. I think he quite liked having the Disney stickers all over his face.
He loved playing up to her pantomime, didn't he?
Can you see?
Well, he contrived it. Like, he loved it.
I don't want to see their life when they get out the villa. It's just let them get on with it. Whatever you're doing in there, it's Disney fine. You know, just get on with it.
So we're saying it. So we are potentially shipping them for life outside the villa.
Yeah, even if it's just an hour and a half.
That's a first. I think that's the first time I've ever heard you say that.
You know what? They're going to split.
What happened, Judy? Who are you?
They're probably going to split tonight now. Curse them.
Another couple I generally, we haven't seen that much time for them, but I do think there's genuine feelings there. Again, we haven't seen their date yet, but Luke and Demi.
Okay.
Okay, you're not sure? Hold on.
Of course, you're absolutely right. Snigger.
Go in, be me. You're right!
She's loaded.
That is not Demi. I'm sorry. Oh my God.
That was Demi.
Yes.
I just feel like, I don't know, they have such a laugh. Is that it?
Oh, they absolutely have such at her expense. You know, to any guys that are watching this, don't do it. I mean, really don't do it, because mimicry, it was hilarious. I thought, and the awful thing was, he clearly has no, stop now, because he carried on as
Maybe
well.
there aren't producers going cut.
Well, possibly there are, but he was more into making people laugh than maybe thinking about her. Demi, I like her, but she has, I've said it before, quite incongruent body, or over-congruent body language. She'll start laughing. It's a kind of social, polite thing. It might be prompted by nervousness or whatever. It's a desire to please, but somebody's only got to say half a funny thing, and she's throwing her head back, and it's not a genuine laugh. That's not in any way to say she's not right in doing it. It makes her very likeable, but I would imagine that she's over-egging it to a certain extent. And for him to mimic that, I have to say that normally when people do that form of body language mimicry, and it's not kind and they carry on doing it, there's a little bit of a loaded criticism in there that this is annoying me quite a lot.
So was there anything in that makes you think that she really just wasn't enjoying that as much as kind of it?
Well, she'd gone even more over-congruent. It was almost a self-defence thing that I'm not totally liking this because it's not particularly flattering to me, but I will laugh very loudly. But then she put two cut-off gestures to hide her face, and that didn't work.
I mean, when you do that, then just like that says it all, doesn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, you can feel it. Often with body language, it's a good idea if you're not sure what it might mean, and it's not a precise science, but if you mimic what somebody's doing, not in the way he's doing it, to take, but you suddenly feel, I feel like I'm hiding now. So she was partially hiding at that point, and he didn't get the hint. He just went for it.
You're crushing me, Jude.
I like both of them. I think because we like both of them, we want them to be ideal together.
Yeah.
And I'm not.
They've both been like people's champions, haven't they, from the outside?
And you know, if they win on the back of that, absolutely fantastic. But as an enduring couple, I think they'd go out on the town and have a laugh. And I think, well, you'd hear it, wouldn't you? But I'm not sure. He now looks as though he's really not sure about much in there apart from having a good laugh with the guides. And I'm not sure that would. I don't see that as a lasting relationship. But I would still, you know, vote for them by all means because they are good characters.
I mean, I can't think of a time when I've really picked up on that they have a physical intimacy.
No, I don't think at all with it. He just seems to be one of those guys that, and more by default than anything else, but I think he's gone in there and not touched the sides in a way, and I think that's been good for him. I didn't really want to see him pretending the old, mind you, we're probably going to get it, aren't we? They'll put them on
We've got the date
in a barrel going over the rapids or something. No, I love you. I'm falling for you. I don't think he's Mr. Romantic particularly, and that's probably why people like him. He's very boyish, very youthful, and that works for him. I hope we're not going to get the plonky music and the declaration of...
I mean, we will. They will be official by the end of the night.
I'm going to get my little sick bag out tonight if that's going to happen. But they've kind of got to, haven't they, to go at the prize money, but I will watch it like she did, like that.
But yeah, I mean, even in bed, I can't remember there being... Again, it's the intimacy that I think I just haven't seen from them yet.
No. She was probably...
I've taken a complete U-turn in just this conversation now.
but it's not a reason to not like them. I think that's the point. They just happen to have both washed up together in a way, and they're likeable almost in the same way as well. They're both nice, they're both fun. What's not to like?
Okay, next we're actually going to go a few days back with Mike and Priscilla to Gate.
Yeah.
But this is them making up.
You know, you did body language air quotes.
I do forgive you, but it'll never happen again. Like, never.
It's not going to happen.
Never.
I mean, you tell it. But that is just that closing moment then, isn't it?
That's called a denial gesture.
Yeah.
And you could see the whole interplay. I like watching these two because I don't know if it's because he's been in the play, but he's very watchful, and he leads a lot with the body language. So he did it there, didn't he? He was watching her, the long face, and then he obviously decided that now's about the time that you could smile. So he threw out what's called a pinging smile, which is, come on, we'll have a laugh about this. She responded, and they are quite mirrored, those two. They're quite an interesting couple. But you saw the cheeks rose up, but then the cheeks went down first. It was that moment.
Plummeted.
Absolutely. It was that moment where she said, all right, you're forgiven.
Yeah.
And not really. And I don't know if he was looking all the way through that, but I think he's smart enough when it comes to body language to understand, something's just been parked there and I'm not completely forgiven. But I think they do like a lot of couples do in there, which is that we're near the final. We've had a bit of a row, but we don't want this to lose the money for us. Yeah. So, come on, let's just grin and get it over and done with. I saw Danny doing it last season where they had a bit of a row and you could see she wasn't happy, but then there was a kind of, it's all right.
But that's £50,000.
Yes, exactly. I would stop a row for that money and I wouldn't do a denial gesture. I'd be smiling for the rest of the week. But I do love the way that she just gave him that warning at the end, and I like her. She's.
I really like her.
Yeah. I really like her. Yeah. I wish we'd seen more of her actually, and I know that probably we've seen a lot, but she came in late, and I don't think we've seen the breadth of who she is. But no, she does do good body language.
Do you think he will have picked up on that warning at the end?
If he was
looking, he is quite intuitive, I think.
Yeah, I think when they went on their date, you know, that guy is a consummate performer, and I do not mean that negatively, because I'm enjoying watching him. And I have to say, he did describe himself as being, you know, the big character in there. I don't like it when they do that, because I always think, we say that, not you.
Yeah.
But I would say it as well. And I think with Shauna gone, I think he's not single-handedly, but he's held a lot of the show up. And what I'm seeing with those two now is he's kind of doing his duty insofar as he's going to do the romantic bit. He's going to say that, you know, we've got a longer term relationship and I won't cheat on you. I'm not entirely convinced by it, but what I do like about watching these two is that A, they look so good together. B, I think when he's come away from the cameras and stopped being Mr. Show-Off, which I think is quite funny, I think he might suddenly realise what he's got in her, you know. And
I think so.
I think he might genuinely fall for her in a way that he's not doing now, because it's a mic show.
See, I think because of his past behaviour and because it's the mic show, I think we've perhaps overlooked this relationship. I think perhaps he overlooked this relationship even for a bit. But after last night, so we're going to look at a bit of their date.
Yes.
I'm actually really, really shipping these two.
Yes, yeah, me too.
Alright, boys, I'm grateful, man, honestly. Nice to see that you guys see something in what we got.
I feel really happy, and I don't want to be all...
Our final date, going to a safari, I can't wait. I can't wait. It's going to be an amazing date.
I mean, if that wasn't choreographed, that's incredible.
Well, if it was, it's still, I mean, that's really, they should go Strictly Come Dancing for that. I mean, that was amazing. The mirroring between those two, nobody else in there does this level of mirroring.
It's really unique to them, isn't it?
Absolutely, and I don't think they even know that they're doing it, because in that
they
first
couldn't
clip,
when they were in the different rooms.
Absolutely, and you get that with existing couples that are very close. They'll mirror when they're together, but it's almost something they're doing subconsciously, but they're able to see the other person. But to do it apart like that, that shows really strong bonds.
It's quite extraordinary, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He came back, he was talking about, you know, they were just celebrating because they were stone. And he did what's called pit bearing, which is quite arrogant. It's a little bit of victory, sort of like a victory roll, really. He was so pleased. And then we go over to the girls' group, completely out of sight. And she uses her hair as an excuse, but she's doing exactly the same thing.
But it was very still the...
Absolutely.
You know, you can do this, but like this is very...
No, and I think they're almost like peas in a pod, those two, in a lot of ways. I think they're kind of equally lovely to look at. I think intelligence they seem to be about on a par, and I think they're very like-minded. And then to go even before they did that heel click jump, they were running in the same. They were excited in the same way. So it's funny. Normally, when you watch couples in there, they're pretending this level of. These two, I think they're almost oblivious to it, how well bonded they are, and I really hope that when they get out, they do carry on, because I think they need to rediscover one another to a certain extent.
And it's interesting because they were voted as one of the least compatible couples in there. But really, I think that's only because of time. And actually, now looking at it, I actually think it's a real shame that we haven't had more time with them now.
Absolutely, and maybe tested him a bit more, because I know, you know, he's been quite resilient in there, and I think, but there were still those moments, and I think it was hilarious when, you know, he lost one partner, so he was grabbing him. I mean, but I get that, you know, he knows what he's in there to do, and he knows clearly he's got a plan to win it, and why would you not? And then suddenly I think he has actually, his surprise might be that he has got somebody that he might be pleasantly surprised that he genuinely starts to develop some real feelings for her when they get out.
I think as well it's the, she definitely matches him, if not more, on the level of intelligence, isn't it? And so far in the villa, I don't think he's really had that yet.
No, I mean, he needs to keep away from the squirty cream after that bedroom scene. Like, please, would all suppliers, all shops, supermarkets, if he comes in, do not sell it to him, because that will be break time for him. But yeah, I think they're going to be mutually ambitious as well, which they'll need when they get out. But you know, maybe you'd be looking at them for other programmes anyway, wouldn't you, really? Yeah.
So is this a second couple out of the 4 that could potentially have life out of the villa?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Yeah. Can I just say, not for the soppy reasons that everybody wants, though. I'm thinking very practical. Does that excuse me?
Yes, we'll forgive you for that. Next we have Paige and Finn, who are pretty much on the outside. Everyone is loving Paige and Finn. And last night we had this huge declaration that I want you to move in with me, I want us to get a dog.
In that boat.
In that boat. I mean, also, what was underneath that boat? I wouldn't be going to, I mean, absolutely not. But let's take a look at this moment.
I'm tripping. I'm tumbling.
And you've
Falling.
bugger up, big boy.
Come here.
I'll never love that though.
You won't.
Now, I feel like with these two, they say a lot without saying anything.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I think Finn is hugely watchable. I think he's excellent. I think for a lot of people, he will come out of this show looking like the ideal boyfriend for everybody, you know. And I think he's got very large eyes. His eyes are very expressive. I think, in a way, when I say carrying her a lot, and I like her.
Yeah.
It's just as a couple that I'm not sure. He literally carries her. Have you noticed in the villa, he's often carrying her everywhere.
I'd be fine with that, but yeah.
But she doesn't seem, I'm not sure she values quite or trusts. Every time he speaks to her romantically, she kind of rolls her eyes. And even at this stage, she was doing face-to-face denial gestures, because when he was getting romantic, she knows it's going to happen. That's what they've got to do on these dates. She kept moving a bit towards him, but with that big, wide-open mouth laugh. Now, in a way, in terms of body language, that's almost a scary gesture. Go away. That's not a kiss me and hug me gesture. So she's still creating this distance between them. And when they kissed at the end, you know, he did pull her across. Then she kind of goes for the tongue out and slop everything. But I think he knows what they should be doing, and I think he's absolutely played it perfectly in there. There are moments between the two of them when they create what's called dimpling in their body language. So they'll look at one another and catch, and his dimples will appear and so will hers. So in a way, I think they've got a shared humour and an appreciation of one another.
So it's that kind of telling, without knowing it, just telling each other how to react to each other. Almost.
Well, it's almost, I hate to say it, normally it would be a look of love. You know, when you see a couple that are in love, often when they catch one another's eye, their facial expression changes and it softens, and if you do dimple, they will appear. So there's something about, in terms of friendship, I think, you know, they're quite well bonded. I think they're still being a bit flirty, but I think what we're seeing the relationship maybe taking many more stages than it's actually got to.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how she's feeling, quite honestly, about that relationship. And I know she looks really cute, but the other thing is, when they talk about one another, there's a lot of times when he's brought up, and everybody else in the villa's brought up, albeit lovingly, that she can be quite difficult, that she can have bad moods. You know, they all said she's the worst one in the morning. And I think it's good that they're making allowances for that, but I'm not sure that's going to work with him. I don't know when they get out. I don't know. I'm not seeing the cohesion there that maybe I would like to say, oh no, they'll be fine when they get out. Having said that, I can understand why they might be the most lovable couple in there, and people will want to vote for them.
Definitely. But they're another couple that I feel like I haven't seen, again, that much intimacy. I don't think they're as inseparable as, say, like when I think of Shanice and Luke T, I'm always thinking of Shanice and Luke T. Yeah. Whereas with Paige, I feel like she's almost had her own journey, and Finn's been there as well.
And Paige, I saw her probably at her happiest and most relaxed when she was with the other girls and Shauna and everything. You know, I think she's also got great friendship bonds in there. I'm not sure this is what her world looks like normally. She's a singer as well, isn't she? I mean, I can.
She's a performer.
I think there's a niche that we're not seeing of hers. That, you know, I think she's probably has a really good fun life, singing out on the road and everything like that. he looks like somebody that would be more wanting the idealistic, perfect, romantic life. But she got that lovely shout out, didn't she, about this is not your song, actually.
Also, I thought what was interesting in that was, without kind of responding to anything he said, she'd just laugh.
That in terms of body language, as I say, that constant, and she doesn't just laugh, she screeches as well. It's just that scream. And in the animal world, that's actually almost a sign of fear and repelling. Now, I'm not saying that she doesn't like him. I mean, I think who wouldn't, in a way, you know, he's shown no flaws in there whatsoever. He's not smarmy either. But she's still repelling to a certain extent, him. And I think she may be, I'm not sure she's a woman that trusts easily. And I think she'll want to get out of the villa and build up some bonds of trust when they're away from all of the others and possibly away from the cameras, before she might start to forge something in terms of a proper relationship.
So what are we saying about these two when they leave the villa?
I don't think they're ideally suited. I like both of them as individuals. I want to see what she actually thinks of life with him when she gets out. And
they're the ones I'm kind of most intrigued by. I don't really know that I've seen anything from either of them yet. I don't know.
Well, again, there's not many people in there at the moment that we've seen, you know, that being on a journey thing.
Yeah.
That people always love in reality TV. We haven't really had anybody in there like, the only one that for me went on a journey and there was Shona. Like proper journey.
Yeah. And Shanice, I think, to an extent.
Well, Shanice has been on a journey from coming in as Shanice and then having a bit of a problem and then re-emerging as Shanice again. Really.
Actually, she's been the same person. I think. I think maybe we've gone through a journey with Shanice.
Yeah,
maybe,
I mean, normally there's what's called an epiphany in reality TV, where a winner will be somebody who's suddenly gone, wow, it would be like Mike in there going, I've just realised I've been doing nothing but showing off in here, you know, and I've pretended to be in love with, sorry, this isn't a true script, but yeah, I pretended to be in love with you, but I've realised actually I'm completely, it would be that kind of, we feel that we've seen somebody really change. And I don't think nobody's really, have they done it and I've forgotten it? It wasn't
at the time.
No, I feel that as well.
Like Mike and Priscilla, I feel like we're just getting into something really solid.
I do
there.
as well, and I really feel that we're losing them from the screens too early. I wanted a bit more. Yeah.
Finally, this just screams volumes, but it's the date between Jess and Ched.
I love Jess.
Oh, God.
Like, yeah, we should be exclusive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because there's nothing can break us apart now, really.
Nothing can break us apart. Wow.
Nah.
I feel like exciting times to come. If I can reach you.
Huh?
That's the thing. If I can reach you.
I mean,
Ched,
have you ever seen anyone less bothered to be?
I won't get up if you don't mind. You're like 10 feet tall and so many muscles you can barely bend, and you know you've probably just eaten chili and I'm asking you to bend on primetime TV, which can cause problems.
It's extraordinary, wasn't it?
No, it's not in Jess's world. And listen, again, this is not a criticism. I think she's magnificent because she has managed to be in there for how many weeks now? Is it
pretty much the whole time?
In a permanent state of selfie. Yeah. Her toes have always been on point. She's always been. She wakes up in the morning with eyelashes still on. And I love her. She hasn't budged from that. She's always got the back arched. She's missing her sister as a selfie double act, but she's just been that social media poser, and right up till then as well.
And she doesn't flinch at all, then, did she?
No, and when she's with him, it's like she's interviewing him for a job. Oh yes, well yes, we have got this, and we are intellectual. This is not a criticism. I think she's a great character because I've never seen in reality TV anybody sustain that persona from social media all of that time.
And it's very honest, isn't it, really? Because the natural thing to do is to, when someone does that, but she's just been very hurt the whole time, hasn't it? And especially considering she lost her twin, like, she hasn't changed. Actually, that's that stayed the same, hasn't
I
it?
thought there'd be meltdowns.
Yeah.
I mean, I was almost worried because I thought, oh, I've seen a lot of twins go on shows, and they normally on reality shows, they've always said, oh no, we're judged as one person, for the very reason that, well, the indignity, I would assume, if you've got one gets voted out and the other one doesn't, or whatever. Plus the fact it could have put them into conflict. But she lost a twin. I mean, as far as we know, that they're welded together, those two, in the outside world. And she just got on with things, didn't she? I mean, really good for her. I'm really going to heap praise on her, but not for being, you know, natural and showing sort of a grittier side or anything, but for being, it's like, social media is like a stick of rock. It's written all the way through.
It's impressive, isn't it?
I couldn't do that for 2 minutes. My back's aching already. Oh no, I'm really impressed.
Yeah.
But is he? I mean,
there was just so many silences in it as well, and just like, yeah, again, like, do you want to be my girlfriend or be exclusive? And it's just like, all right.
Yeah, and even the joke about the sausage, you know, which made us all go, whoa, you know, oh, it's as big as me or something. The rest of us would have wanted. It's like, no,
I'd be terrified.
Absolutely, what the hell? Yeah, she takes it, everything in her stride. She's really set herself up, I think, as the sort of brain of the house in her mind. And I like her character in there because, in a way, she hasn't flinched once and shown any. When I say inner depth, that sounds rude. I don't mean it to be rude. She's kept the legend of Jess going in there all the time.
I feel like we'll get especially with the main show, we don't really get to see that side of them anyway, that depth. Like, it's all about the narrative. Yeah. So, you know, I think there's probably a lot that we haven't seen of Jess. And
in a way, she's done Ched favours because I don't know him at all.
No, I was just going to say that because it's interesting. I have know nothing about Ched. No. Just looking at that, I can't. What do you gauge from his reaction to her? Because he just kind of.
It's a bit like somebody inviting somebody to dance and they say yes, but they don't get up and you're not sure what to do. And I think in his mind, he's thinking, oh, well, I've sort of said I'll kiss her, so I'm going to have to get up. I think it's made him very lovable, actually. I think people really like him, and I understand why. I don't think we know him, but I think seeing him trying to work her out, and he's moulded a lot to fit in with her, I think. And it's made him appear quite sweet, you know, juxtaposed against the size of the guy. Yeah. He didn't, when he went in, I thought, he's not going to be a particularly good addition to the villa. But with her, it does work, albeit it's a little bit painful to watch. But if he plays that role all the time outside, I don't. And the way she said, "Oh, you have to," my sister will have to check you out first. Yeah. Said, oh, really?
But do you think that says more about her than it does about their compatibility?
Yeah, I mean, in a way that, and also that gives her a bit of a safety valve that. I don't think these two are particularly. What did they declare themselves as last night? They were sort of kind of going to think about being boyfriend and girlfriend.
They said they were exclusive, wasn't it? And
there's nobody else.
Very casually exclusive.
Who else is going to take
Yeah, exactly. Well, we haven't got a choice now.
No, I know. It's like we're in a room together now and we're exclusive. I think that was their nod towards winning. But I think she possibly doesn't want to be too hypocritical. Therefore, she's got a safety valve in, you know, whatever we're saying here, my sister will have to check you out first. And whether that's true or not, it kind of stops him feeling he's been on too much of a promise. Yeah.
I thought what was interesting as well was the boys' reactions to, because Mike came back exclusive and Ched came back exclusive, and the difference in the reactions from the boys, like the boys when Mike came back were just, and then Ched, it was like, oh, well done, mate.
Whatever. And that actually wasn't good, was it? Because it was so telling. Even the girls were sort of like, you know, there's a level of squeal. And with Priscilla, I think they were rolling and it was like they'd been told about 4 times and we got the squealing every time.
And they've only just met Priscilla. They've known Jess for 6 weeks.
I know, but with Jess, it's like, oh yeah, whatever. And that, in itself is quite telling. They're probably not sure.
Are you sure? That's what we want to know, though, Jude.
I don't know. I'm not. To be honest, they all stand pretty much an equal chance, which is not saying I think any of them are genuinely in love or even that smitten with one another. I think they're all at the moment, well, particularly Jess in a good way. It's the camera is the kind of love affair at the moment. No, I wouldn't want to call it or put money on it at the moment,
Okay.
quite honestly. I'm going to say none of them.
Okay.
Again. Yeah, but there's
Yeah.
a tiny little window of opportunity that some of them might actually grow something when they get out.
Okay. Okay. I'll take that.
Take your foot off my foot now.
Okay, so with 3 days from the final, 4 days from the final, who is going to win?
I'm interested because at this point I get more interested in the viewers, not their body language obviously, but their mentality. And I think I love the way that they get more and more sophisticated on these shows. I think this time there's less of a obvious sophistication, because often they start to go against who we all think is going to win. I think that happened last time to a certain extent, and I love watching that. You think they're going to win, well, we're going to vote somewhere else. I have a feeling that the fudge might do it.
Me too.
Although the ones that are still soppy and soft-hearted, unlike myself, I reckon it would be a Paige and Finn. But my outside bet, I'm betting on all of them. No, I'm not going to bet on all of them, but I've just got a feeling that coming up in the last furlong, Mike and Priscilla.
I think I agree.
If we can stop...
If we had another 2-3 weeks with them, I think.
Yeah, we need to stop being soppy and expecting true love. And not minding ambition and a desire to get that prize money. If people can overcome that, oh no, I want to see the real thing, then they're your ones.
Okay. That's interesting
No
stuff.
refunds if I'm wrong, though. No refunds if I'm wrong.
Well, yeah, that's it. And then next time we meet, it'll be we'll know the winner of Love Island. So yeah, join us again on Monday when we'll be back looking at the Love Island final.